YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. Now, we did not get to see every first round match, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into some second round matches. If we get the rest of the first round matches, we'll watch some if you want, but I mean, I don't think we have to cover every match necessarily. So, second round, you all saw Granitor win. We did not see Obelix's first round match, but it's going to be AVA Granitor versus TGR Obelix. I want to say, have I played Obelix before? I think I did. If so, I'm sure he beat me. He's a good player as well. So two good players here. Galatia versus Nervii should be a very interesting matchup. I like Galatia in this matchup, but Nervii has some tools. Let's see what the map is here. So again, it's Granitor's Galatia. Obelix is the Nervii, I believe. Ooh, those Cappadocian cavalry. Before Oathsworn for the Nervii. That's going to be a tough infantry force. The Galatian Legionaries are fantastic. There's absolutely no doubt about it. They're good units. They are not as good as an Oathsworn, but for their price, they are a very solid unit. There's two mercenary Syrian archers here, and then a Celtic slinger on each flank. It looks like I see two Galatian swords and two Galatian spears on each flank. And there's two mercenary Cappadocian cab, which are heavy cavalry. Only one Galatian raiders over here, and then there's a noble horse for the general. Probably not a bad idea to put your noble, or, well, I'm trying to remember what the options are for your general with Galatia. I can't remember all of them. Noble horse probably is a good option. If he was in an infantry versus a faction with Oathsworn, that would not be good. Obelix is rocking multiple lines here, which I like. He's going to have Celtic slingers, then Levy Freeman, followed up by fierce swords, and then Oathsworn. And then in the end, he's got, looks like two mighty horse, or there could be more mighty horse that we just can't see. And I see at least two Germanic Scout Riders. Now, the matchup between Scout Riders and Galatian Raiders. These guys are set to Flaming right now, which is very odd. Raiders have better stats. The Germanic Scout Riders ought to be just a little faster because they're very light as opposed to just light. So we'll see how that works out. Long range advantage definitely going to the Nervii, who's packed 4 Celtic Slinger. Well, let's see, 4 Celtic Slingers. No, long range advantage definitely goes to Galatia because of the 2 Syrian archers. I forgot about those. So yeah, Galatia's got the long range advantage. But we'll see how it's used. Galatia going in a very wide single line, but kind of splitting up into different contingents. We have a mainline contingent in the center with his best infantry, and then 2 support forces on the flanks. The Germanic scouts are definitely getting some nice javelin volleys in on the Cappadocians. It's going to take more than one volley to start killing men, but getting that hit point damage in early is going to be helpful versus the Cappadocians, which are definitely tough targets. Let's see, skirmish-wise, no one is in range of each other yet. Those 4 Oathsworn, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And it is going to be very important for the Galatian to either quickly win on the flanks or somehow disrupt the charge of or weaken these Oathsworn before combat. So we'll see what happens. Looks like some skirmishing going to begin. One Celtic Slinger gets a little bit separated here. And it is going to take fire from the mercenary Syrians and from a Celtic Slinger. Not ideal. Let's see, and then again getting ganged up on here. So Obelix may just be trying to bait the Galatian forward a little. He's not really taking any serious losses, and now he's going to try and flank fire on these units. But this one's going to fire straight back, so this Syrian archer ought to do very well versus the Celtic Slinger. The armor on the Syrian archer is going to benefit it a lot. Mercenary Cappadocian cab moving in. It's going to force the slingers back. It's not likely that he'll catch them without getting javelined by the Oathsworn, but being able to push these guys back and try and shoot them in the back will definitely be handy. Of course, you know, if the Nervii player can get the Galatian to use most of their ammo on the Celtic Slinger, it would be very cost effective because the Syrian archers are very expensive. Good units, but they're expensive. Mighty horse pushing forward. Ooh, if it strays in the javelin range, this is going to be bad. It avoids the javelin volley, which actually, that's great, because then it sucked the javelin volley out of those legionaries. Galatian Raiders being a nuisance, but they soaked up a javelin volley from that Levy Freeman right there, who got 17 kills. and then 3 more from there. It was using flaming, still using flaming for some odd reason. Not really sure why that is. Let's see how the skirmishing. This Celtic Slinger's taking a beating, as is this one. So the skirmishing, not ideal. It looks like Obelix has pulled 2 slingers back to try and save them for later in the game. It's not necessarily a bad plan. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a slower start on this one than some of the other battles, because the players are hoping to kind of jockey for some type of supremacy early on rather than just charging in headlong. These Celtic Slingers are now off the field though, so if there's no response from the Nervii at this point, the Skirmishers of Galatia can start targeting Oathsworn. Instead, they're going to target this Fierce Sword, which is a great target. It's going to run, though, to try and get out of range, but it has a ways to go to get out of range. So it's going to take shots in the back, and it already has poor armor and block chance. They turned around just in time to take the volley, though. Little baiting of the Galatian swords here with the Levy Freeman. It looks like they're going to alternate javelin tosses. Nice work there by the Levy Freeman. Galatian spears going to do the same, though. Toss their javelins into the Levy Freeman. So definitely each player willing to play cat and mouse with each other here. The Levy Freemen are going to go ahead and take that engagement, which they will lose. If the swords commit to this, though, you might see Galatia answer, and the Galatian swords are going to be better in prolonged combat than the Celtic warriors. Let's just see what else. Still some skirmishing, so the other skirmishers, the Celtic Slingers, moved back forward for Nervii to continue to contend with the Syrian archers, which they are struggling with greatly. Even the Celtic Slingers won't... I mean, they can kill Fierce Swords, probably, but not going to do great versus an Oathsworn. I mean, unless they start getting rear shots. Ooh, Mercenary Cappadocians are going to tear this Celtic warrior apart. Fortunately for them, it was kind of an awkward charge, but their Levy Freemen are going to get killed. They were going to die anyway, though, so it's not the end of the world. The Mighty Horse probably ought not to follow there, because it's just going to be into a lot of spears. So yeah, this opening engagement right here, I don't like this a whole lot for the Nervii at the moment. Galatian spears coming from the flank. Galatian swords are going to do very well here. More spearmen, so the Mighty Horse is going to do poorly. So this engagement right now is not very good for Obelix. Nor is this right here. This is not going to turn out so well. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenging engagement. Now, these Syrian archers, though, are going to get hit by a mercenary Germanic scout rider, which will be sacrificed here, but ought to do some damage to the Syrian heavies. It's going to go ahead and get out. Good plan. Keep it alive for later. Did some nice damage to the Syrian heavy archers, though. Mighty Horse inbound. Going to be intercepted by Galatian spears. Galatian spears do have cavalry counter tactics, which has not been used yet. Fierce Swords got a lot of kills so far, but now they've been hit by Mercenary Cappadocian cavalry, which they are not going to like at all. So Fierce Swords do not have the weight class or the armor to withstand heavy cavalry charges, and the Scout Rider is going to be intercepted here before it gets to the Syrian archers, and this time it probably will not escape. And now the Galatian Raiders are free to take out that skirmisher. This flank is definitely going to go in favor of the Galatian player. These Fierce Swords are going to get hit by the Galatian swords, and the Celtic warriors will also get picked up by the Galatian swords. So this is definitely in favor of Galatia at this point. The Nervii is just struggling to have the tools. The better skirmishers for Galatia force the engagement. Again, the infantry from the Nervii is quite capable, but when it has to come into a fight where it can't properly be supported by cavalry or skirmishers, it really starts to fall apart for the Nervii pretty quickly. The Oathsworn's already taken some losses too to skirmisher fire. Heavy cavalry can get in here and rear charge as well. And yeah, I mean, this is just, it's definitely looking bad for the Nervii player. So it looks like Obelix is just going to go for the engagements. Noble Horse is going to charge in here to try and knock down some of the Oathsworn as well. Won't be crazy good because it's through your own men, but you know, they're just trying to cause some extra damage. Yeah, this battle's going to easily wrap up in the favor of the Galatians. which I would have expected was the superior faction here, but again, you never know. Depends on how people play, depends on army choices, lots of different factors. But yeah, you can see the sweet Gaul on Gaul type action here. But yeah, the Nervii Oathsworn is doing, it's fighting well against the legionaries themselves, but with these rear charges from the heavy melee cab, it's going to end. Again, you can see Oathsworn definitely capable of taking down the Galatian legionaries. It's just going to be too little too late, I think. Because the Galatians are going to have way too many tools left in late game. Yeah, this Oathsworn is just being rear charged into an oblivion by the mercenary Cappadocian Cav. That Cappadocian cavalry is some good stuff. Man, they were sweet units in Rome 1 too, the Cappadocian cavalry for the Pontic faction. They were awesome looking. They were almost kind of like a almost cataphract type unit. Not quite a cataphract, but fairly close. Definitely fun units. Yeah, this one's certainly going to wrap up in favor of Galatia. Let's just take a close-up of some of the fights. So here's Oathsworn on Galatian Legionary. See, the Nervii Oathsworn is one with kind of the tannish color. Watch that fight close up. I mean, the Oathsworn might actually win that. Over here we've got, looks like Galatian swords into the back of Nervii Oathsworn, which is still facing some legionaries as well. No. That's Celtic slingers going after an Oathsworn. Ooh, the Oathsworn's going to get rear charged by Noble Horse. Ouch. And they did not get their javelin volley. Noble Horse is going to lay a lot of those guys down. Has a pretty sturdy charge and ought to do pretty well against that Oathsworn there. The number is still a little too high to just straight leave it in combat unless you get a rear charge here from those Galatian swords. Yeah, the Oathsworn here is not going to be able to get the job finished. And they are starting to drop that cavalry, but this rear charge here from the Galatian swords will help finish off the Oathsworn rather quickly. So probably no need to retreat the Noble Horse, even though they could. Galatian swords not getting a real great charge though. But yeah, even more rear charges now, so another Cappadocian cavalry coming in. So this Oathsworn's definitely done for. So, nice match there between, oh geez, now I'm forgetting it, Obelix and Granitor. Enjoyed this one. Nervii are just, again, it depends on the player and the army picked and all that, but I would say that the Nervii, obviously there you can see some of their struggles. Mighty Horse is good horse, but it's medium and it's not very well armored. The Cappadocian cavalry is much more expensive, heavier, and more heavily armored. So you get a nice trade there. I think I like Galatian Raiders a little bit better than the Mercenary Germanic Scout Cav. The Scout Cav's a little faster. The Galatian Raiders, though, have the distinction of having a little bit better melee stats. So that's why I tend to like them better. So just overall, I like the faction Galatia better. I don't know if that necessarily means they're better, but it's those tools that I like better from them. So good job to both players, good game. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I will see you all back soon.